From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Once again to the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. In the headlines, 2012 New Patriotic Party flag bearer reiterates his commitment to accept election petition verdict as the party celebrates 21 years of its establishment. Meanwhile, the chairman of the ruling NDC at the same event has added to calls for a scrapping of the winner-takes-all democratic ideology. Political party commentators pledged to desist from commentary on election petition verdicts. Assembly members in Adenta Municipality vowed to remove incumbent MC as EC official abandons a confirmation vote, citing orders from above. And yet another fire leads to destruction of shops at Kumasi Magazine. We also have sports, showbiz, business, and international news all coming up.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
The flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party in the 2012 elections has reiterated his commitment to accept the election petition verdict whichever way it goes. Speaking at the flag-raising ceremony to commemorate the 21st anniversary of the party in Accra, the first petitioner in the case touted the NPP's contribution to Ghana's democracy, describing the Kufuor administration as the best in the Fourth Republic.
Formed in August 1992, the NPP survived 8 years in opposition until it gained power after the historic 2000 election and held on to power until the NDC took over reins of power in 2008. For Nana Addo, the 8 years under former President Kufuor was the best the country has seen.
And under the Fourth Republic, our second taste of power, under the leadership of our outstanding leader, John Ajay Kufuor, and I say this with respect to Dr. Ajay and the others, provided the best government that the Fourth Republic has witnessed in our country.
He added that having contributed so much to the country's democracy, the NPP will be the last to start violence.
It's our movement that fought against the idea of the one-party state and fought the idea of the life president. That even at the height of the Cold War, the principles that we have subscribed to were laid out clearly. Democracy, the rule of law, respect for human rights, the development of a market economy. Those are the principles that we have fought for, and they continue to be the principles that we fight for today.
The event was graced by very senior executives of the ruling NDC, including the chairman, Dr. Kwabena, who pledged on behalf of his party to accept the Supreme Court verdict on the election petition.
I've given promise to my dear brother Jake that we unite to make sure that peace prevails. Wherever the verdict goes, it's immaterial. We've been in opposition from time to time. We've been in government from time to time. So if we are in opposition or we are in government, so what?
Former President Kufuor shared some of the principles that helped his administration succeed.
Central principle and authority is that government should be an institution of service to better the conditions of life of all humanity, and especially the Ghanaian. And with this principle, I tell you, NPP will grow into eternity.
Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Gatti, highlighted some of the party's achievements in its 21 years of existence. 2 flags were raised, the national flag and the flag of the party, in the spirit of fostering national unity amongst the party faithful and the nation at large.
Meanwhile, the NDC chairman, Dr. Kwabena has added to calls for the country to consider reviewing the winner-takes-all democratic culture in favor of power sharing. Speaking at the flag-raising ceremony to commemorate the 21st anniversary of the rival NPP at the party headquarters in Accra, the NDC chairman said the culture is at the heart of the tension that threatens the country's democracy and called on political parties to join hands in fighting against the winner-takes-all system.
Dr. Kwabena asked all political parties to join hands to change the governance concept in order to strengthen the unity and democracy in Ghana.
I think that something that makes us insecure is the fact that usually the winner takes it all. Now, from now, don't let the winner take it all. Let us share. This country belongs to all of us. Government change. What I've seen is that no king lasts forever. The people will be fed up one day. So let us be patient.
The NPP's Deputy Communications Director, Yao Boabeng, is however not in favor of the proposal, arguing that the timing is wrong.
We are all working for Ghana. We are working for Ghana in opposition or otherwise. Where were these calls when we went to start the petition? How do we start calls like that 1 week to a decision? That is not an option the Constitution provides for. The Constitution we have says that you have a majoritarian government. You have an executive presidency who is elected on a 50+1. You also have a majoritarian parliament, which works with the president. There are difficulties at local level. I would prefer that we compete all the way down to local level, where the parties can then engage. Because the so-called winner-takes-all syndrome will be broken up. I don't think now is the time to say that anybody who is the victor in the upcoming election petition should consider sharing cabinet with other people. We are not structured for that.
Dr. Kwabena earlier also called on leaders of all the political parties to leave a legacy of peace by planting a seed of peace in the grassroots supporters of their parties.
Policy analysts at an Institute of Economic Affairs workshop in Accra are also calling on political parties to take another look at the winner-takes-all mentality that has engulfed our body politics for years. Law lecturer at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, Kofi Abochi, who delivered a paper on rethinking the winner-takes-all system, called for a structured system of funding political parties by government.
According to Kofi Abochi, the system where political parties have to fund their own campaigns or seek funding from other private institutions has manifested in the winner-takes-all mentality and corruption in government.
The reality has been that unlike other jurisdictions, where monies donated for political causes are given without expectation necessarily of personal returns, experience under the 92 Constitution has shown that politicians have come to depend on the investment, and I use the word advisedly, of private citizens and corporations with the expectation that a successful capture of power would result in the reimbursement and profiteering of those investors. Invariably, therefore, the absence of a structured system of funding of political parties in Ghana, coupled with a failure to adopt a policy approach to the compensation of political actors for pre-electoral services, have led to the negative subcultural behavior manifested in the winner-takes-all business. Public offices and national resources have become booty to be distributed and shared among the faithful of a winning party, to the exclusion of all others whose behavior is either not deemed fanatical enough or downright opposing to the ideology of the winning party.
The phenomenon of the winner-takes-all, he indicated, has grave consequences for the socio-economic development of the country.
The consequence has been that electoral loss has been equated to surrender in warfare, with its concomitant effect. The effect of these factors are further reinforced by the feedback generated on the adoption of a winner-takes-all attitude as a political strategy, and how these are exploited by political actors to secure electoral advantage. Mr. Chairman, knowing what the prospect of victory offers, candidates in elections make promises whose fulfillment can only be guaranteed by dislodging opponents from occupied positions and depriving them of entitlements secured under contracts and other engagements.
He thus tasked Parliament to step up its monitoring and evaluation role of the executive to ensure the executive do not abuse its power. Other recommendations include a paradigm shift in the cultural disposition of Ghanaians to enable them to understand whoever is put in a position of authority, whether that person is a member of the ruling government or not, has been put there to best serve the interest of the nation.
Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Accra, Archbishop Gabriel Charles Palmer Bako, says that two main political parties in the election petition, the NPP and the NDC, should come together to form a unity government to serve the rest of the three-year term. He says Ghanaians would be grateful if the parties are able to do this. He was speaking to our sister station, Adam FM.
Inti se bibisa ebema in omanu awa atitia na ye bayana ze yekoe na wo mumu enka se momyenye bawo na afedie yemu omanu senia ese ni senia fata ubisa me ebe de se obi beka na so meka ene se enfie miensa akai ye wo unity government kra anke be yefe ye nyina na ye adwuma enti 2016 na afedie ya dwene ho say ye go back to party politics ka be ya mede enti me mpa bo me bo ane say afenu ni nyina omo nwene o man ni ye di ho na wo mon ka say ya hunu no man no dodo na ya ka bo ya pese ye som e ma o man ni ewie pe me gidi say Ghana fo nyina ye be da bo wase Mutu beka we kra ntema anka wan hwi kra otemuano baby bia anka enye na so sisi a ye dia akọ otemua fo no o so mo bu asem na so ye ni a ye tra so dwe no mma ye nko ye mo mpae mma ye mo ye ho mode mma ye ni ye ho eni nkita ho ya nwene ye hwa be ye ye ama o man no e na ye.
Political party communicators and media houses in the Upper East region have resolved to suspend commentary on radio for some days, starting next week, to ensure they avoid comments that may spark violence in the aftermath of the election petition verdict. Upper East correspondent Albert Asare reports that moratorium takes effect from August 26 to September 2.
The agreement was made at a meeting called by the Upper East Regional Minister and his deputy at the Regional Coordinating Council. The purpose of the meeting was for the minister to discuss with political party communicators, media personnel and the Regional Security Council how to maintain peace in the Upper East region in the aftermath of the Supreme Court's verdict. Leaders of the various political party communication teams shared diverse views on how a peaceful atmosphere can be maintained in the region and pledged to urge their supporters to remain peaceful.
Security agencies are there to ensure that peace prevails. There are some people in the system within us. When there is a problem and they come to the security agencies and what they want is not given to them, then they brand the security agencies as belonging to another faction. I want to appeal to you that when you go back, talk to your people.
Alex Kwenu called on the political party communicators to be mindful of their comments on radio as they could easily incite the public to violence. He also urged them to support the police in the discharge of their duties.
If we agree that we are dedicating the whole week and make sure that we don't comment on anything about this, or we can even decide not to have any political discussions. Like the young man said, we can now say that we communicators from the various parties have decided that we are dedicating this week to talk about peace.
Upper East Regional Minister Alhaji Limuna Muhammad Muniru said the agreement not to do any political commentary on radio from next week till 3 days after the verdict is laudable, but needs the collaboration of everyone involved, especially the radio stations. The Regional Security Council was also urged to be on the alert and beef up security at the hotspots in the region on the day of the delivery of the verdict.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Al-Hassan, has advised police officers in the service to stay neutral and be circumspect in their dealings with the public. Addressing personnel of the service in Wa, he urged them to watch their deeds and utterances, especially when in public.
Is over. You have your permission to dismiss the guardsmen to the guard room. Stop!
Realize that we have a unique role to play at times like this, and it is important that in the performance of our duty, in our off times, even when we are associating with members of the public, we become very, very circumspect in our deeds, in our utterances. It is important that we do not create negative perceptions as to what our position is on matters of concern. And do everything to be seen to be neutral, and that our loyalty should be to the state, and we should avoid anything that might be interpreted to mean partisanship. At this juncture, I'm very confident and very trustful of all of us, given what we've gone through for the past 3 or so months.
Now, the PPP is described as sham, symbolic and superficial efforts being made by all manner of people for Ghanaians to be peaceful before, during and after the Supreme Court ruling. A statement signed by the National Secretary Kofi Samoa says the party has been monitoring with deep worry the peace crusade and describes as most ridiculous the call by failed presidential candidates in the 2012 elections for Nana Akufo-Addo and President Mahama to meet as a sign of their commitment to accept the verdict. According to the party, the real threat to the country's peace and security is the excessive, highly placed, including presidential-level corruption that deprives Ghana of its resources for infrastructure, development and job creation. The statement goes on to state that majority of the youth are unemployed and are idle, and the devil will soon find jobs for the idle hands, and that Ghanaians should rather have a situation where civil society and the general citizenry will stand ready to resist any individual or group of individuals who attempt to disobey the orders of the Supreme Court. We're taking a break. We have more news coming up. Don't go away. An election to confirm the renomination of the Municipal Chief Executive of Adenta was today called off after the Electoral Commission's representative abandoned the process, citing orders from above. It comes on the back of previous attempts to kick out the MC, Kakravan Lair, through a vote of no confidence. A number of the Assembly members who are pushing for her removal say the last-minute scrapping of the process is only an attempt by unseen hands to hold off her outright rejection, vowing to get her out no matter how many times she's presented. Osei has more.
14 out of the 19 Assembly members were seated by 9:30 Thursday morning, waiting to cast their ballots to either reconfirm the Municipal Chief Executive or reject her. The absence of the sitting MCE, who was to be reconfirmed, and the remaining 5 Assembly members and the coordinating director for the municipality will not deter them. There were also anxious residents of the municipality eager to know the outcome of the vote. After 2 hours of waiting, the Electoral Commissioner eventually walks in and then walks out again with a promise to return in 30 minutes to conduct the process. He, however, did not show up again as promised. He later confirmed through a phone call that he could not return to continue with the process, citing orders from above. It was the confirmation the Assembly members gathered needed.
We called the Electoral Commissioner and he told us that it's due to powers above the unseen.
I want to state it clear that we know it is the Deputy Regional Minister, Greater Accra Regional Minister, who is trying to frustrate everything because he is having interest here.
They, however, vowed they will continue to push for her removal, explaining that she has not helped the cause of the NDC and the constituency.
We are waiting. If they like, they can choose to come 100 times, and we are telling them that Kakra will not take it. We will still vote Kakra out, and I'm assuring you, we will vote Kakra out. If they bring her 100 times, we'll vote her out. We'll vote her 100 times.
I feel very, very embarrassed and bitter because we are here to confirm the president nominee. We respect the president. So whatever nomination he has come out with, we are here to confirm him, whether to vote for or to reject him. But now the nominee is here, here, and he's also telling people not to come to our meeting because she knows she will lose.
I'm a boo. Sani nu oba ne sani no fe no aya la ojogba shi kwaje 9 nu oba ona no konugo na ahun ka shi be ni agowo ba bi ene nu oba trashi lololo e atrashi e bi e wo nu pa hun ni yen wo yen hun MPA tron bi e proceeding hun e tron bi e ba ke wo ba to bi enu.
The agitation against the MCE is not limited to the assembly. Some constituency executives of the NDC in Adenta have also been demanding her resignation. At the time of filing this report, she had declined requests to be interviewed on the matter. Etonamse, Joy News.
Club 600, a section of the popular Kumasi magazine Industrial Enclave in the Ashanti regional capital, was today razed down in a major fire. About 50 shops were affected in the fire, which started at early Thursday morning. Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin's report.
Most of the properties burnt were second-hand ties, a vehicle and spare parts worth thousands of Ghana cedis. About 50 shops were also consumed in the fire due to the combustible nature of goods in the business enclave. Owners of the shops could not tell the cause of the fire, but others believe the fire could have been generated from a car battery shop that recharges car batteries. Dealers of such businesses are believed to have always left the process overnight at the Kumasi magazine. Meanwhile, fire service personnel arrived on time and managed to put out the fire. Fire officials said the cause of the fire is yet to be determined. Shop owners combed through the debris to salvage the leftover ties and other goods after the fire was brought under control. Most shop owners say they cannot quantify the cost of the goods.
Hama will this weekend meet with government officials, including ministers and their deputies, to deliberate on further interventions to boost the economy. Inputs into next year's budget are expected to be made at the retreat, according to Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister Murtala Mohammed. He addressed the press corps at the Flagstaff House, from where Gifty Andopia reports.
This will be the second retreat by government on the economy this year. Government, at a similar session last month at the Pejasi Lodge, rejected suggestions the economy was broke, even though it acknowledged there are challenges. The Deputy Minister reiterated government remains optimistic about the economy.
The economy is doing well. The measures that government put in place to arrest the situation is yielding some successes. We have the external reserves of this nation, which is from August 20th, 2010. Which can take about 3 months import cover. That is, within 3 months we can still have enough money. Mind you, we rose from 4.something billion to 5.7 billion within that period. So it's a clear manifestation that such policy interventions, are yielding some positive results. We also agree, like His Excellency the Vice President said yesterday, that the first quarter was not only challenging, it was tormenting that we had those challenges. But I believe that between the second quarter getting to the third quarter, there have been some successes, and we're hopeful that the third quarter and the fourth quarter would also be as good as this, if not better.
Starting tomorrow, the meeting will review earlier interventions introduced by government to deal with the challenges which have confronted the economy since 2009.
Each sector and each ministry would have the opportunity to indeed bring on board the successes, the challenges that they face in regards to the implementation of the 2013 budget. There will also be the opportunity to have an overview of the commitment and contracts that government has entered into and those that government will be entering into. We'll also be looking at the wage and salary issues, and in this case, single spine. We'll also be looking at the national debt stock.
He said government is working to ensure that the impacts of the economic progress it is touting are felt individually, although government is satisfied with the results of its intervention to salvage the economy so far. Kifty Andwapia, Joy News, Flagstaff House.
About 30 people suffering from cleft lip and palate have benefited from free surgery organized by the Ghana Cleft Foundation during an exercise which took place at the Fiankwanta Regional Hospital in the Western Region. A report by Western Regional correspondent William Benjamin Peters.
Cleft lip and cleft palate, which can also occur together, are caused by abnormal facial development during gestation. A cleft is a fissure or opening, which is the non-fusion of the body's natural structure that formed before birth. A cleft lip or palate can successfully be corrected with surgery, especially if conducted soon after birth or in early childhood. The average cost of a surgery for cleft and lip palate ranges between $500 to $1,000. The Ghana Cleft Foundation therefore organizes annual free surgeries for persons suffering from cleft and lip palate as a way of assistance. The exercise at the Fiankwanta Hospital in the Western Region saw 9 males and 16 females, as well as babies, drawn from across the Western Region, undergo successful surgery from the 5-day exercise conducted by 2 surgeons from the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital at Kumasi. One of the beneficiaries preparing for his surgery, 15-year-old Isaac Itua from Sifirioso, was pleased with the gesture, believing he can live a normal life like any other person after the surgery. Some parents whose wards have undergone the surgery expressed their gratitude to the foundation. The leader of the surgeons from the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, Dr. Jikua Plangeru, explains the importance of the exercise as well as some causes of cleft palate.
Are born with it. Some of the things that we believe may be contributing to the cause, some of it is maternal malnutrition, when mothers lack certain nutrients when they are pregnant, particularly folic acid. Sometimes it may be related to certain drugs that mothers take during pregnancy. There's a drug that is called a steroid, which sometimes mothers take in pregnancy, which we believe may cause some of them. Some of them are also just in the family, so you may find that maybe a grandmother or a grandmother has it, and then the child is born with it. So there are many possible causes. Sometimes we believe that even environmental pollution, some things that are in the air that the mothers breathe when they are pregnant, can damage the babies. So these are some of the possible causes of the defect. But as I said, they are born with it. It's not something that you get as you grow. Yeah.
That has caused the lip not to fully form, and a cleft palate is a hole in the roof of the mouth. However, this facial deformity can be rectified through a simple
Good evening and welcome to the Joy Business Report. And coming up in our first story, Ghana's quest to sell its first 7-year bond has received massive interest from investors. The bond was oversubscribed by 170%. Now, government had 270 million cedi offers from local and foreign investors. It, however, took just 102 million cedis. Expected yield is 17.5%. Now, Joy Business has gathered that most of the bids that government is likely to accept are from local investors. Government is expected to receive the money by Monday, the 26th of August. Proceeds from the bond will be used to finance infrastructure projects as well as settle some maturing debts. Some analysts say this would encourage corporate institutions and government agencies like the Volta River Authority to issue long-term bonds to finance their operations. In other news, industry players say the recent hikes in taxes remain the biggest threat to their existence. Government recently increased some taxes and introduced new ones as part of efforts to address revenue shortfalls. However, the improvement in power supply for some time now was expected to bring an end to the major challenges faced by industry. But some local manufacturers say the taxes are making it difficult for them to clear their inputs at the ports. Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Industries has welcomed plans by the Nigerian government to lift a ban on some Ghanaian exports. Mining companies have dismissed assertions that their plan to lay off several workers due to falling gold prices is a ploy to pay less taxes. The price of gold on the world market has fallen by as much as 30% from January to date and is currently selling at a little over $1,300 an ounce. Mining companies have consequently threatened to lay off workers in order to reduce their cost of operations. Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Tony Obin, insists the major challenge to the sector is with the rising cost of operations. Dr. Obin says most mining companies are struggling hard to reduce the number of layoffs. The 2013 Multi-TV Habitat Fair is set to commence tomorrow, August 23, with about 70 exhibitors ready to provide patrons with solutions to their housing needs. The fair will also host the Energy Commission, which is to educate the public on appropriate wiring and energy conservation methods as a means of addressing the rampant fire outbreaks.
Preparations for the fourth edition of the fair are far advanced, with about 70 exhibitors setting up in readiness to showcase their products and services. It will feature major players such as home and construction financing companies, real estate developers, hardware suppliers, home decorations and furnishing firms, electrical goods and home appliance dealers. It is to provide more comprehensive solutions to meet the numerous challenges with housing. This year's edition is specially designed to educate patrons on energy conservation while offering them a one-stop shopping opportunity.
The inclusion of Energy Commission is so special to us. You know, Energy Commission this came on board this year and want to educate the public with respect to energy consumption. I mean, people buy home appliances which does not have the required label for the Ghanaian tropical condition. I mean, they get someone will purchase a refrigerator somewhere and bring it to Ghana and they will use it. This time they are giving you advice on which type of electrical appliances you need to use whilst you are in Ghana. I mean, where you should purchase the required labeling, and also they are giving us education on house wiring.
Exhibitors are highly enthusiastic about the fair and plan to give away special packages for customers.
We'll educate them on how to treat their windows. After the application, we'll give them ideas to how to prevent the films from fading and stuff like that. And also, we will give a discount to those who patronize our service after the fair. So it's important they must come to the fair.
And when they come tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to see beautiful things here. And moreover, we're going to give discounts to the first 10 people who are going to come by our stand. Trust me.
I think as you can see from the back of my stand, the one we are setting up, you can see we are really bringing solutions to the door openings. We are bringing any kind of a lock, any kind of a door anybody would think of, and we expect people to come and see that there is technology in Ghana.
The Multi-TV Habitat Fair comes free for patrons and will end on the 25th of August.
So do take advantage of the Habitat Fair and be there tomorrow. That's all for the Business Report at 8. My name is Asare.
Time for the very latest in the world of sports. Stars midfielder Suleiman Tare has written an apology letter to coach Kwesi Appiah, which means he is set to return to action for the Black Stars. Muntari launched the tirade at the Black Stars coach following his substitution in the 2014 World Cup qualifier against Lesotho in June. Coach Kwesi Appiah has vowed he would not call the influential player to the Black Stars fold until he apologized. After initially denying that the incident was not serious, Muntari has made a U-turn and actually has offered apology to the technical team and his teammates in a letter. In a related development, AC Milan midfielder Kevin Prince Boateng has confirmed to the Ghana Football Association that he has returned to the Black Stars after a 2-year absence, making him available for next month's World Cup qualifying clash against Zambia. The Germany-born midfielder wrote to the Ghana FA this afternoon to confirm his decision to return to action for his father's country. This means that the AC Milan ace will be available for selection for next month's crucial Brazil 2014 World Cup qualifier against Zambia at home. President of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Alhaji Raji, says his outfit is poised to overcome all setbacks that challenged them last season. The association failed to organize a number of competitions, including the annual Top 4 and the intended Galka Cup. Though the association managed the President's Cup successfully, Alhaji Raji is promising a much improved season. He spoke to Joy Sports at the 2013 Galka Annual Congress held at the Crossport Stadium today. Well, we're sorry about that. Couldn't get you the visuals for that. But that'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adi Jr. Do you have a great evening?
Although scandals often have devastating consequences on the careers of public figures, Hip Life Group Prayer appears to be riding the storm over the apparent infidelity involving the girlfriend of one of its members. The choir master Eugene Ban, in an exclusive interview with Showbiz, dismissed recent reports the group is on the verge of breaking up.
The night is still young.
When news broke on Monday that the remaining members of the Prayer Group, that is Prayer Honeho and Prayer Chechia, were about to go their separate ways, many concluded the move, if true, would be suicidal. Sally, the girlfriend of Prayer Chechia, who is alleged to be at the heart of the decision to split the group, described the reports as untrue when she appeared on the AM show.
For me, I don't know where it's coming from. This rumor mongers and stuff, people want to make news and be listened to. So their relationship is very, very good. We are one family, and like absolutely, there's nothing like that.
In an exclusive interview with Showbiz, Eugene Ba or Prayer Honeho also dismissed the report, saying the bond between himself and his colleague Stephen is as solid as rock.
Trust me, the group is still alive and kicking. The group is still as solid as rock. Choir Master Big J is forever going to be business partners. Exactly. So the group, trust me, I will laugh over it if you say that he's struggling to be on his feet and all that.
According to Eugene, the group recently released their latest single, Perfect One, which they recorded in UK. And for him, the apparent negative press has afforded the group an opportunity to promote their new work.
I wanna be the perfect one for you. I will give my heart to you. Forget about the haters close to you. Girl, show me what to do.
And the renowned Ghanaian playwright Ankelebo White has added his voice to the peace campaign preceding the election petition verdict, encouraging Ghanaians to respect the peace in the country is enjoying. The playwright could not resist sharing some of his favorite quotes from the hearing, including, "Do you know your true size in this country?"
Abna, tell me, so how do you expect to get a man with this behavior of yours?
When you say get a man, do you mean a boyfriend, a husband, or a casual friend?
I mean a man to marry. Hey.
But when you say marriage, do you mean customary marriage? Marriage under the covenant? Or Islamic marriage?
Abna, do you do this to everyone?
And when you say,
the renowned playwright Ankelebo White, who is noted for his hilarious plays like What Is My Name, Apartment N1 and a host of others, says Ghana must be put first and we all must uphold the peace the country has been blessed with. As Ghanaians, we have nowhere going if we should lose the peace.
We need to remind ourselves that 4 years come quickly. You understand? Instead of, we take to the streets and things like that. The countries where they've taken to the streets to protest election results, 4 years come and pass and they are still in the bushes fighting. Whereas within that time, you could have changed the situation.
Also noted for his witty ways of inculcating realities of life into his play, Ankelebo says after it has all calmed down, he might come up with a play that will play around with some of the judicial terms that have gained popularity during the hearing. This leads us to find out about his favorite election petition terms.
No, my favorite term is I see my size. I love that one. I now see my size. And my favorite question from Justice Atugova is, have you seen that go to court is not easy?
Uncle Ebo finally leaves us with a peace message.
Politicians will come and go. Parties will come and go. This nation is all we have. I have a saying that we are surrounded, we are like an island of English-speaking people in an ocean of Francophone countries. To our west, our east, to our north, are Francophone. Indeed, I believe that even to our south, the fish in the ocean, they speak French. So Ghanaians, when there's fire here, we would have nowhere to go.
Them say them bad, but I swear them do nothing. Them say them go throw me punch, but I swear them no reach.
Right, that's it. But before we go, a quick run through our top stories. 2012 New Patriotic Party flag bearer reiterates its commitment to accept election petition verdict as the party celebrates 21 years of its establishment. Meanwhile, the chairman of the ruling NDC at the same event has added to calls for a scrapping of the winner-takes-all democratic ideology. Political party commentators in the Upper West region pledged to desist from commentary on election petition verdict. Assembly members in Adenta Municipality vow to remove incumbent MCE as EC official abandons a confirmation vote citing orders from above. And yet another fire leads to destruction of shops at Kumasi Swami Magazine. That's it. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Israel Live.